Hello, friends. Hariom Tat Sat. I'm Justine Lemos, PhD, with you here this morning. And in this live stream, I'm answering questions, Ayurveda Q A questions. So Ayurveda is the science of life. Ayurveda talks about all of reality in terms of three universal intelligences. These are the doshas of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And all of us have a particular Ayurvedic constitutional blueprint, as well as ways that we deviate from that blueprint. And a lot of the questions that came in were about Ayurvedic dinacharya. Dinacharya is an Ayurvedic daily routine that we do to keep the body healthy and vibrant. This is what we do when the body is to keep the body and mind and spirit healthy, and then to bring the body back into alignment, we often make adjustments to the dinacharya or do things with the dinacharya. So this is Ayurveda Q A, and Ayurveda and abundant energy. And so if you have questions, post your questions and I'll try and get to them. But there were questions that came in. Okay, so let's see. The first question that came in, I said, ask me anything except for if my hair is real, because I have really, really big hair. And so, of course, the first question that came in was, what type of hair oil do I use? And, using hair oil and using oil throughout, let's see, my hair is really big, especially right now. It's been like 8 months since I've had it trimmed, and it's really, really long. Using hair oil is a part of Ayurveda. Using oil throughout the entire body is a part of Ayurveda. And the hair oil that I use is a type of herbalized oil called Bringaraj oil, which is a traditional oil that is used for the hair. There's also a question that came in about what foods promote joy. I'll answer that in just a second. If you have questions, just put them in the chat and I'll try and get to them. So a question came in, does Abhyanga or Ayurvedic oil massage really help with thin skin for older people? Yes, it does, because it gives nutrients to the skin and it oiliates the skin. And, when the skin becomes old, it becomes very brittle, very fragile, the skin, but the oiliation helps from it getting dried out, because it's the dryness that creates the weakness and the brittleness in the skin. So Ayurvedic oil massage is really helpful for thin skin for older people, and it is generally recommended for older people. Now, you have to be careful when you do your oil massage that you don't slip in the shower, especially if you are an older person. So be very, very careful with that. And don't slip in the shower. But Ayurvedic oil massage throughout the whole body is a really wonderful remedy for skin dryness, premature wrinkling, vaginal dryness, for all sorts of dryness in the body. We recommend oil massage. Next question is, should Triphala be taken at night or in the morning? In most cases, so Triphala is an Ayurvedic herbal remedy made of 3 herbs, amalaki, harataki, and bibataki. And each one of those herbs has a resonance with Vata, Pitta, or Kapha. And there was one famous Vaidya, one famous Ayurvedic doctor, that for every problem that came to him in his practice, for every malady, he would give Triphala. But he would give different proportions of the 3 herbs of amalaki, harataki, and bibataki. Now, my favorite Triphala, and this is not because I get something from these companies, my favorite Triphala is made by Maharishi Ayurvedic Products International, because I know it's very pure. It has been well tested. And they make a formula called Digestone that's very, very good. That said, Triphala is generally taken at night, and it's generally used for remedy for constipation. It can also be used for other things, but it is generally used as a remedy for constipation, and generally it's taken at night and to promote good elimination in the morning. So hopefully that answers the question about Triphala. Another question about Ayurvedic Dinacharya. Do you tongue scrape, then oil pull? We can do it this way, and it actually doesn't matter that much in which order we do our tongue scraping to remove ama from the tongue, and our oil pulling to strengthen the teeth and remove bacteria from the mouth. Oil pulling is called gandusha, and then tongue scraping. And tongue scraping, it's going to remove some coating from the tongue, but the tongue is considered to be the head of the snake, and if the snake is the whole digestive tract. And so we can't really fool ourselves into thinking that we've removed all this ama, all this metabolic waste from the digestive tract just by cleaning off the head of the snake. It doesn't really work that way. So the tongue scraping is good. We should do it. But it actually, in some forms of traditional Ayurveda, they don't even recommend tongue scraping. It's just like, hey, what's the point? Or that said, tongue scraping with stainless steel or copper tongue scraper is a good oral hygiene Ayurvedic practice. So now the reason why one of my teachers recommended oil pulling first, because then you're going to, a little tiny bit of oil is going to enter into the digestive tract. You're oil pulling first thing in the morning, and that will stimulate the digestive fire. And then after that, you can take hot water, you can eat your breakfast, etc. And then you can do your tongue scraping and brushing of the teeth. Alternatively, if you like to, you could do your tongue scraping first, then your oil pulling, then your eating of your breakfast, then your brushing of the teeth, like that. Just as long as you get those things all in. There's another question about Ayurvedic Dinacharya. Neti or nasty for winter, meaning Nasia. So neti is, very popular. It was made popular by Dr. Oz. It's the pouring of salted water through the nostrils to clear out mucus. Nasia is the application of herbalized or unherbalized oil in the nasal passages. Neti is very good if there's a lot of congestion, just like a ton of gunk in the nostrils, like, you've got a head cold, and then it can clear out that congestion. However, our nostrils are mucous membranes, and if you touch them, they are naturally wet. And so we don't want to take an orifice that is naturally wet and moist and dry it out. And over time, ongoing use of neti potting every day can dry out, because of the salt and the water, you're washing something out, the natural oilation that is there in the mucous membrane, which creates more dryness and then more mucus and then more dryness and more mucus. So I like to use neti pot very sparingly. And the nasal application of oils, Nasia, you just take some oil. You can use sesame oil, or you can use herbalized Nasia, and you place a few drops in the nasal passages, and this oilates the nasal passages, the ear passages, the eustachian tubes, and is really used to prevent colds and flus, as well as keep the nasal passages oilated, because in many cases it is actually dryness that causes the mucus. So if it's very dry where you are, I definitely recommend Nasia in the winter, and I recommend using neti sparingly. So those are some of the questions that came in. Post your questions and I will answer them. Another question came in about what foods promote joy. All foods promote joy in Ayurveda, especially if we eat them with joy. There are particular herbs that have resonance that create joy, but we wouldn't want to ever say that the food itself or that the herbs itself promotes joy. Rather, it is the connection to consciousness that allows for joy to flow through when we're in relationship with any food or any herb or any substance. It is really more the interrelationship between the consciousness of the person and that substance that through which joy arises, we could say. That said, there are herbal formulas that we use in particular, but foods that promote joy, of course, the sweet taste in Ayurveda contains water and earth elements. And by sweet taste, I don't just mean sugar. I mean rice contains sweet taste, dairies contain sweet taste, nuts contain sweet taste. And those foods with sweet taste really give a sense of nurturance, of joy, of sweetness. After all, the first foods that we usually eat as a child or mother's milk is quite sweet. And so the energetic resonance of those sweet tastes like dates or milk, comfort foods, they really actually promote joy and have that energetic resonance. So good question. Let me know. Use the comments if you like to. Let me know if you have any other Ayurveda questions, Ayurveda Q A questions. Today is full moon eclipse energy in Rohini Nakshatra, Taurus energy. The energy is very vibrant, very magnified energy. So traditionally, this is a time for light eating, gentle fasting, doing pranayam practice, doing mantra practice to carry through the energy of the eclipse. So just chant a few mantras, Om Namah Shivaya. It's a good mantra for the eclipse. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya, Om Namah 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 Shivaya, Om. Hari Om Tat Sat. So what herbs might be conducive to joy? It depends upon for the particular person. In Ayurveda, we never say and we never offer herbs as good for everyone. It has to do with your particular individual constitution, energy, and blueprint. And this is really the magic of Ayurveda. Western medicine says you have a headache, you give the same medicine to a 250-pound man that you do to a 100-pound woman without taking into consideration their very different constitutions, their very different energies, their very different blueprints. And so what herbs might be conducive to joy is a very complex question. And as a practitioner, I am very reticent to answer like that question because we need to know for whom and what they're experiencing in their life. Is it someone who is experiencing a lot of sadness? Is it somebody who's experiencing a lot of anger? Is it someone who is just experiencing exhaustion? In each of these cases, we would need different herbs to draw in more consciousness and to create a resonance of joy in the body and mind and spirit. And so it isn't to be coy that I say that, rather it is to honor really the knowledge of Ayurveda that tells us that the right remedy must be given to the right person in the right time and in the way and for the right reasons. That said, everyone can meditate and everyone can practice gentle pranayam, gentle breathing. Almost everyone can practice mudras. Almost everyone can practice gentle movement and gentle qigong. And this will be conducive to joy in everyone. in ways that herbs need to be really individualized, because herbs have a very powerful and potent resonancy. And I get concerned when we just see so many herbs marketed to so many people. Everybody should take turmeric for inflammation. This is not actually true. Someone with gastritis should not take turmeric. Turmeric is very drying and very heating, and it can be very good for inflammation or arthritis or something, but its synergy is actually much, much better when it works with other spices. So now we have turmeric and black pepper bottled together in little pills. Actually, the pure magic of why turmeric works and why perhaps many forms of cancer are unknown in India on the subcontinent is because of the use of spices in synergy together. And so our impulse to just take ashwagandha or just take turmeric is the same impulse of the Western medical paradigm that says, just take this pill and you'll be all better. In fact, we need to have a synergistic relationship with foods and with herbs and with lifestyle practices like the dinacharya, the daily practice, in order to make shift. It's not just about taking a magic pill. Really, the magic of Ayurveda, of yoga, of Vedic astrology is of a holistic art. So that is my rant for today and my answer to your Ayurveda questions. Let me know if you have more questions. I can come on again and offer more information. Much, much love to all of you. Take care. Hari Om Tat Sat. Enjoy the full moon eclipse.